All right, let's talk about Hatsuden, shall we? This is a Japanese little card game for two players. That's it, two players. As far as I know, you can only get this at the BGG store, okay, here in the US. It's a Japanese game. It comes with English instructions, right, as you can see there. So, it'll take you a couple of minutes just to wrap your head around the whole thing. But I'll give you a brief overview of the game, just to introduce it to you, to see if you might enjoy it. So, a two-player game. It's not that thinky. It's a little puzzly. And it's neat. I really like it. I've played it quite a few times since I bought it. So here's the deal with Hatsuden, right? You're always going to have 5 cards in your hand, right? And these cards, all these cards, they're the different renewable resources in different numbers, right? You got one sun here, you got water, number 1. Every renewable resource has 1, 2, 3, and 4. They're numbered, okay? This is the draw pile. It stays there. These are the 5 renewable resources that you're going to be fighting for, and you'll understand that in just a second. And these are 2 cities, right? So during the game, you're going to be dealing with 10 spaces here, right? 5 here and 5 here. Now, each line here will represent 1 city. Same thing for the opponent over there. These are special cards. We'll get into these in a second. So there are 2 things you have to consider with Hatsuden, right? Because on a turn, you got your 5 cards. You're going to play a card down, right? So if you have this one here, you have to match the resource, right? I can't put like a sun over here. So, on your turn, you'll put a card down and you'll draw back up to 5. Okay, that's the end of your turn, and then your opponent goes. Now, what are you trying to do here? Well, these renewable resources, like I said, you're fighting for them. So this is like a tug of war, right? This is a tug of war. Let's say in this case here, this is probably a better example. And by the way, you can put these cards anywhere. I can choose to put that down here. You have these 10 spaces here to work with. But let's say this is the situation here. That means I have 5 in this line here. Okay, and let's say over here my opponent has 4. Well, that means I win this renewable resource, and this is 1 point. Okay, this is at the end of the game when you're scoring, right? So you have to keep these things in mind. I'm telling you right now that you're not going to be able to win all of them. Okay, it's just not going to happen because you're also worried. Anyway, before I go into the also. That's it. Here, in this case, this is a tug of war here, a point tug of war. And if you have more points on your side than your opponent, you win that renewable resource, and that gives you 1 point. A lot of times in this game, you're just going to win by 1 point, okay? But as you're doing this, you also have to worry about your cities, right? This is energy going into the cities. Now, if you look at this card here, 9, 10, and 11, right? The 10 is darkened because that's your target. 10 is your target. You're safe if you get 9 or 11, but you're looking for the 10. Because if your cards here add up to exactly 10, you get 1 point for this city. Okay? Same thing here. But if it adds up to 9, you're safe, it's okay, but you don't get a point. If it adds up to 11, you're safe, it's okay, but you don't get a point. If it's 8 or less, okay, and you have cards here, and let's say, and by the way, one of your options, okay, is to just use a pylon. You just take any card face down and you can put it here. If you have, I'm not adding these up, okay? Let's just say these are like 12 cards here, okay? 12. Actually, 9, no, this is 11, right? So I would be safe in this situation. I would be safe. But let's just say that there's a 4 here, and I have 12. Well, at the end of the game, I'm forced to turn one of these face down. Right? And if I'm forced to turn one of these face down to be able to, be within the range of this city, that's going to affect my tug of war here. Okay, so you have to be very careful. You're really shooting for a 10 so you can get that extra point, because that, I'm telling you, a lot of times in this game you're going to win by just 1 point. Okay, so you're going to be placing cards down. You know, in your opponent, every time you put a card down, you draw a card back up. Another choice you have on your turn, actually I have 6 cards here. Another choice you have on your turn is to, if you have terrible cards, maybe you already have the reds here and you have another red in your hand, right? You can discard. You can just discard a card. That's your turn. You discard one of your cards and you draw up. Okay, you can do that. Now, when you play a card, here's something else that you can do. If I play that card, and I happen to like that one water renewable resource there, hydro, I don't have to take it from the draw pile. I can take it from the discard pile. So there's going to be a little pile of cards here, and you could just take a card from the discard pile instead of the draw pile, right? That's something else you can do. So again, you're going to be worried about this tug of war here, okay, as you're placing cards down. Sometimes you're going to have to place a pylon down, right, just to keep things balanced, because this really is a game about balance. You're worried about the tug of war here, and you're worried about 9, 10, and 11. You got to be within that range, but you're really shooting for the 10 so you can get that extra point. But let's say you put down a 4, okay? Every time you put down a 4, you get a special card for free. That's what these are here. Okay, when you put a 4, you're allowed to take a free special card. You would just take the top one and add it to your hand. Now these special cards can just be in your hand the entire game. Okay, you can play them anytime you want. So let's go over the 4, and there's only 4. There's only 4 special cards. That's it. Okay, once these are gone, they're gone. All right. So what is this? Well, this smart times 2 here has to do with the tug of war situation. If you have this card at any point, you can pop it into one of these resources. That means winning this resource here in the tug of war, this one is worth 2 points because they're all worth just 1 point. But this one, or wherever this is, will be worth 2 points. So that's a pretty good card, because if you know for sure you're going to win a particular resource, you pop that on there, that's worth 2 points. It's going to freak your opponent out. This one here has to do with the cities, right? This one, let me put this back. This one has to do with the cities, because like I said earlier, you're safe if your cards add up to 9, 10, or 11, and you're really shooting for the 10. But let's say that just in the circumstance here, because of the tug of war and how the cards came out and stuff, you have cards amounting to 12. Well, if you add this +1 to the city, this will safely allow your city to go up to 12. Okay, safely. You're not going to get a point for it, but you can safely go up to 12. That's what the city +1 means. This one here is interesting because you can always upgrade a resource. Like, for instance, I have this 1 sun there. And, during the game at some point, I may want to upgrade that. That's a number 1. I may want to pop that number 2 on there. You can always upgrade a resource, but you can never downgrade. You can never downgrade a resource. So if I need to put a 2 or a 1 on this 3, or I need to put a 3 on or 2 on this 4, I can't do it unless I have this. This card allows you to downgrade. So what I would do, let's see, in this situation, if I'm running into trouble with my city, that's a 4. I pop this down here, and then I play the 3. That's the only way you can downgrade. Okay. You can always upgrade though. That's always good. And secret, what is this one? This is a pretty good one because as you know, you're doing the tug of war. It's pretty much open information game because you can see what your opponent doing. Your opponent can see what you're doing. They can see what your cards are adding up to here in the tug of war. Well, if I want to play this 4 red or any card really, the secret card means I just put it over it and I pop it over here. That way my opponent doesn't know what that card is. But there's only 4 of these special cards. Once they're gone, they're gone. Okay, and you know, you play like that until you know, everybody's got the, you know, the first person who has everything, you know, placed. Usually your opponent might have one open space or whatever. They will pop their card down. The game is over. You do the score. You see who wins the different resources here with this tug of war. Whoever has more points on this side wins, or if there's more points on that side, they win. It's worth only 1 point. And then you do the points with the city. Okay? If you have 9 or 11, you're safe. Okay? If you have 8 or less, it's -1. If you have 10, you get +1. You get 1 point. Same thing here. Okay? And that's Hatsuden, pretty much. I really enjoy this little game. I think it's fun. Again, I've only seen this available here in the US through the BGG store. I think they're still available. You got to check it out. And it's a fun 2-player game. You know, it's casual. It's not too thinky. You know, you can have a conversation. You have fun playing it. You'll play it. You might want to play it 2 or 3 times because it's a quick game. And it's enjoyable. A little Japanese card game. Hatsuden. Go get one.